Good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Feinberg. I'm with The Hollywood Reporter, and I'm very excited to be here tonight, and I think you will be too when you realize that for the first time, we have the core group, the entire core group of people responsible for this movie, together for a Q&A. So I have some questions for them. Then you guys have submitted some questions. It's going to be a lot of fun, so please join me in welcoming them one by one. To begin with, the writer, Luke Davies. Please, sure. Next up, he's the director, Garth Davies. Next up, we come to the cast. Please welcome Patel. Next, please welcome Rooney. Next, Nicole Kidman. And last but certainly not least, accompanied by his translator, Raul, please welcome Sonny Pawar. All right, guys, thank you for being here, and congratulations. And to begin with, I guess we'll let this close. And Garth, I'd like to begin with you. You had never directed a film before, feature film before. You had done a great series, Top of the Lake, and in fact, it was while you were promoting that this story first crossed your radar, right?
That's right.
Tell us what happened and why it resonated with you.
Well, I was at Sundance with Top of the Lake, and the producers had come across this story, and they just kept thinking of me, saying, you should do this story. And when I read the article, I just completely fell in love with the story. It was amazing. So I just got completely addicted to it, really.
Luke, there was a bit of a clamor to get the rights to Saroo's story when that happened, and they had it. Pick up the story from there, how you came to be involved, and just what your initial feelings were when you saw what the challenge was for you to turn this into a film.
I had an already existing relationship with the producers. One of them had produced this film Candy that I wrote 10 years earlier, and so they came to me with the book and the book rights and said, what do you think of this? What would you do if you got the job? It wasn't really a job offer. It was an offer to audition, essentially. It knocked me over. The story to me was like such an incredibly beautiful, simple, primal kind of fairy tale or myth that I just thought, I've got to get this job. And so I wrote this free association few-page document and then had a phone call, a Skype call with Garth, which was in a sense a sort of get to know each other, chemistry, compatibility phone call as well. And it went from there.
Did I hear that Wall-E, the character, was somewhat of a influence of this script? Did I read that?
Yeah, for me, I mean, that amazingly beautiful poetic opening act of Wall-E, it's very whimsical, and our opening act, it's not whimsical in that way. There's predators but the idea of an innocent wandering in a hostile landscape, yeah, in the back of my head somewhere, there was a little Wall-E thing, a Wall-E buzz going on.
Not mine.
Not yours. Dev, long before this was very advanced in the process of coming together, you became aware of it and you went after it, right? Like long before the cameras were ready to go.
Yes, I did. I ended up knocking on their doorstep whilst they were still, putting the script together, and there was a big whiteboard on the wall with all these stickies. And I think Garth told me to avert my eyes because it was like classified information or something. But yeah, I really wanted it.
What was it that, I mean, talk about why you wanted it so badly that you would go and do that. I don't think you do that for every part.
Oh, man. Well, you guys saw the film.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question. To play a character like this is a real dream. You know, I've never really been able to step into a performance space like this. You know, it's like an anthem of love, and you know, it's just like a beautiful message to be putting out to the world. So everything about it and all the people attached was, you know, a dream for a dude like me.
Yeah. So Garth, once you had the job, I believe that before the actors came to work, you felt there was some research that you needed to do just to sort of essentially retrace Saroo's steps, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big responsibility telling a true story, and I wanted to make sure that I'd done some work. So, yeah, I retraced the steps of Saroo in India. And I was there when the adoptive mother met the birth mother, which you saw a little clip of. I was actually standing there when that happened. And it was a big moment because Saroo was so kind of stressed out with that moment. He was preoccupied with Kamala, and so I spent a lot of time with Sue by myself. So I was kind of thrust into their lives in a very deep way very quickly. So, yeah, I mean, I just immersed myself in their world and the landscapes and tried to kind of immerse myself in a way that could bring about an honest telling of it.
Now, the way that Luke opted to write the script was going to require that the first hour of this film, I guess, would be in a language and without faces, or in a language that would be unfamiliar to most moviegoers, and with people who would be unfamiliar to most moviegoers. That's a big, you know, risk when you're trying to, you know, get your movie out to the world. Was that something that gave you any trepidation that you know, how you would do that? Plus, you've now got to find somebody that a young boy that people are going to want to spend an hour with.
I mean, I think we both felt that was the way to tell the story. I've always instinctually thought it should be a linear story. But yeah, it's kind of the reality of that is another thing, and having a 5-year-old hold the movie for an hour is a terrifying prospect. But I found this little man in Calcutta. It took about 4.5 to 5 months to find him, and it was a hell of a job. But I was in Calcutta in the room with all of these shortlisted children, and when he kind of stood in the room, this kind of boy that I was imagining in my heart and soul was just standing there, and I thought, oh my God, that's him. And then we kind of brought him into the rehearsal exercise, and I just put the camera in his face, and I thought, that's our movie. And yeah, here he was. And that was it.
But it's an American financier's dream, really, to begin a movie for the first 50 minutes in Hindi with English subtitles and a 5-year-old non-professional actor.
You're going to make a habit of that.
That was awesome.
Yeah. It was a slam dunk.
Right. Sonny, I got a question for you. Had you ever acted before in anything, a school production, anything?
No.
And so when, I guess you had to make a tape of your audition for this, or however you did it, how did you prepare? Were you excited? Were you nervous? What did this involve?
मैं एरेंडा मॉडल स्कूल में था, फर्स्ट में था, फिर एलिशा दीदी आके मेरे को लेके गया अंधेरे में और मेरे को और पापा को केला कूदा, एक्टिंग किया थोड़ा, और ऐसे हम लोग इधर आ गए.
Sorry.
Good luck.
It all started off when I was in my school in Mumbai, Air India Modern School, when a lady by the name of Alicia came, took me and a couple of friends to do a couple of workshops. There were lots and lots of children until a magician by the name of Garth Davies came, shortlisted me amongst the top 100, and after that just removed the 2 zeros and made me number 1.
Thank you.
Did he really say that?
Nicole, I want to ask you.
No, nothing.
So talk about this character and when you saw the script, what it was that sort of resonated. I got the sense in a very personal way for you about who you'd be playing and getting to be an Australian in a movie, which must be nice.
Yeah, different. I think, I mean, obviously I've adopted children, so that's the initial way in which I came in to the role. And the speech that Sue gives about the vision, which is all her, it's very, that's what happened to her, I relate to. And I think a lot of, when you speak to a lot of adoptive parents, they say that something similar vibrated. Obviously, there's many different stories, but a lot of people have come up to me subsequently saying that's something that they relate to. So that was a very, very powerful pull for me. And I expressed all of that when I met with Garth in New York, and we talked about many things besides the script, but that was also one of it. And I just, I think I was just incredibly honoured to be given the chance to play Sue, and she's become a very, very close friend of mine. And it was the most important thing to me was that she felt that she was honoured, that her something was captured there. So, and she's been incredibly supportive. And I would say that was important to us making it, is that the family, who are very, very special, were depicted in that way, and that they felt good about this film and their story being told, because it's deeply personal and it's their story.
Absolutely.
She was very happy you were playing her. Very happy.
So, Rooney, when you saw the script, what was your reaction? And also, I have gotten the sense that you and Garth obviously got along nicely. You're already doing another movie, so together, just what brought you to this?
Well, I came in very last minute, sort of. I read the script and I just thought it was such a beautiful story. I just loved it so much. It was so emotional, so powerful. And then after speaking with Garth, I just kind of knew after like 3 minutes. I wasn't sure. I wasn't planning on working during that time. I was going to be taking time off, and so I really wasn't sure that I was going to do it. But then I talked to Garth, and like 3 minutes into the phone call, I just knew that I was meant to work with him. Thank you for separating us a little bit.
So, Deb,
we were lucky.
Come back and pick up the story. So you'd had this initial interest early on. I guess they probably said, hold up a little bit. We got to get our ducks in a row first, right? Then when it came time to actually audition, it was quite a process, right? From what I have read and heard.
It's opening a big can of worms, isn't it? It was kind of just put myself on tape. And I was doing a film where I'd been working on an Indian accent for a really long time, and then I was in London, and they're like, Garth is going to meet you in a week. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I watched loads of tapes of Saroo, and that's the wonderful thing. He's done so many, kind of talks on the internet. So I just kind of absorbed as much as I could. And then I got in the room with him, and we kind of were in there for 6 hours. And that's where I met Divian, who also plays Mantosh, the brother. And we're kind of from the same part of London. So we bonded over our terror at doing this accent. And it was a really nice, kind of space of exploration, I guess.
And did you get some assignments for the next few months before this was going to be, in terms of the physicality of the character and all of that?
Yeah, he was basically like, we need to make you look less like a weasel, so you're going to have to go to the gym and grow your hair out and hit puberty kind of thing. And I actually bumped into Luke in Whole Foods after I'd done my taping. And I was like, dude, how did it go? I haven't heard nothing, And we're in this, this aisle in Whole Foods, and he gave me his vote of confidence, which was really nice.
Yeah, but first of all, we were walking towards each other, and as we walked past, I turned and said, Dev! And you had that flinch of like, oh no, it's a crazy fan, this is bad. And I'm like, I'm Luke Davies, I wrote the screenplay.
So, Sonny and Dev, when did you guys first meet? And was there any coordination in terms of, just kind of studying each other, figuring out if you were going to do anything together? So I guess, Sunny, I'm sorry, I'm sorry for the translation here, but when did you first meet Dev, and what did you guys do?
पहला मैं शूटिंग में आया इसलिए वो मेरे साथ मिला खेला कूदा और बहुत मजा किया हम लोग ने.
We met a couple of weeks before the filming, and we jumped around, we hopped around, we played a lot of games. I sat on Dev's shoulders, he took me horse riding on his back, and that's about it.
And Dev, in terms of
heavy prep there.
Well, so Dev, Garth, whoever wants to answer this, were the scenes shot in it? Were the scenes that we see Sunny in shot before or after the scenes with Dev?
I think we shot Sunny first. We shot all India first.
Yeah.
But at the end of the Indian shoot was Dev's first scene, which was when he met his mother at the end of the movie.
Wow.
So Dev's first scene was the last scene of the movie, essentially.
Wow.
So I'm really sorry, Dev.
Yeah.
But his complete panic attack we used. I said, it's good that you're feeling like this. This is how Saroo would be feeling.
And Deb, was there anything, did you want to see the footage or anything of Sunny? Was there going to be any attempt to, replicate mannerisms or anything, or was it just, a different, fresh start?
I think Garth does this wonderful kind of subliminal job of grounding us all in the same energy. There's no need to really mimic him because my journey is so different. I go back to India, kind of so connected to it, but also kind of like an alien, with the Aussie accent and all that. So the journeys are different. But I spent a lot of time watching him on set. I came to set and was a fly on the wall, and got to see them do the scenes, absorb the space, see what it looks like, take those as my own memories, and access them when I was in Australia. So that was the one plus point of that, shooting that first and getting to be there. And, credit goes to Abhishek as well and Priyanka, who couldn't be here, because they're just also phenomenal and created this beautiful space for Sunny to, roam freely in a way.
Nicole, how was the language barrier dealt with on the set where you're now having scenes with Sunny, for instance, for the first time? And how did you guys deal with that?
I mean, we bonded through games. We played games because actually Sunny speaks English well now. But when we first met, he didn't speak any English. So that's how we started. We played cricket and soccer. I tried. And
you were pretty
Garth
good.
was like, come on, Nicole. Throw the ball. And Sunny was very good and I was very bad, which he liked. And so that was primarily how we started the connecting. But I mean, when you're working with somebody, and I hate to talk about Sunny like this because it's sort of, but you'll tell him what I'm saying. Yeah. But even when you have to bathe a child, that's a big thing, a boy. So you have to get their trust and you have to have them believe you and to somehow let them hold you and touch you and all of those things. There needs to be all of the work leading up to it, which is just time. You've got to put the time in. And you can't sort of fast forward that. And Garth was, that's the great thing about him, is he fights for the rehearsal. He wants that time. And a lot of times, particularly on low budget films, that gets cut. And I have to say, it's so worth fighting for, and it's imperative, particularly when you're working with younger people. And then also, as Rooney and Dev will say, we all had a rehearsal process that was pretty intense, even as adults, which is great because we came out of that after, a week to 10 days just going, okay, we can kind of do anything as a group. And that's a really important thing. So,
Rooney, would you add to that? I mean, was there a particular takeaway from that? And also, I heard that Garth, sometimes I heard you have a bit of an unconventional directing style. Sometimes you might
Apparently.
get close to the action or talk during scenes or whatever. Is that possible? No.
No.
No, Dev. I read some quotes.
Oh,
about-
well, no, like in the Google sequence where Saroo is on the computer finding home,
Yeah.
I was definitely with Dev, completely heart and soul in that moment. So we were kind of holding hands through that moment and just gently guiding him where we were. So that was definitely the case. But no, I don't like to talk during a take. No, I love my... First of all, they would beat me up, and I like to give my actors as much space as possible,
Right.
and kind of get out of there.
Yeah. So for the actors, starting with Sonny, if we can, did you have a favorite scene and a most challenging scene? Was there something that you really looked forward to, and then something that you maybe found a little bit you weren't looking forward to?
Spoon skin and train skin and all running skin.
The spoon scenes were my favorite. The train scenes were a lot of fun. And the nervous ones were all the running sequences.
It's funny because, from my experience, he really loved all the action stuff, and the deeply emotional stuff he found a bit challenging. But anyway, it's lovely that he said that. I mean, the spoon scene is such a beautiful sequence. But anyway, he's just a beautiful kid and a beautiful soul. So good on you.
Did he want to add? He wanted to add something else.
Yeah, I think he wants to say something.
ट्रेन में मेरे को डर लगा था, फिर मैं जीना तान के किया और अब उनका बस वाला मेरे को लगा कि ना वो ही नहीं पाएगा, फिर मैं जीना तान के किया.
Particularly in one of the train sequences, I was very scared. I was very nervous, but I put my hand on my heart and I said, I'm a brave boy, and I did it.
बस.
Yeah, we had a sign language, and I'd do this, which meant we need to feel it, and so I'd just do this, and he knew that the scene had to be felt, and that was all it took. And then after a big scene, we'd just cuddle. But yeah, it was big stuff that he had to do, and he was amazing.
All right, can we come back to you, Nicole? Was there one you were very looking forward to, and one you were especially looking forward to, one that you maybe were not looking forward to, a moment in that you had to do?
I mean, I don't really think like that in terms of a performance. It's more like I enter into the character, and I'm just sort of, I navigate through it and love being in it, actually. I mean, it's a fantastic thing to be able to have a role like this, and I think particularly what it's saying in terms of certain things that I really believe. So and I've done a lot of films that are very dark and tend to be obscure, and this for me is a very it's a film that's very, very loving and sort of embracing the light, which I'm very, very was something exciting for me and something new. So I was never dreading anything, but at the same time wanting to capture it. But that's probably what Garth is so strong with, is he just kind of you're in it. And for me, something like the dinner scene where we're all at, and we have limited time, particularly when you're in a supporting role, to make it all really sort of sing, and that dinner table scene that was fantastic to do, because it kind of was the glue, and it shows the family and the fractured family at that stage, and the way in which she was, and this is Saroo, fighting to keep her family together, which I think is such a beautiful thing to see a mother doing that, and the way in which she did it and embracing both her children, one who was having trouble and one who was far more on a sort of an easier path in a way at this stage in his life. So her sort of pulling everyone together was probably a really I loved doing that.
I'll change up the question a little bit for Devin Rooney because it could be a better question. So let me hopefully.
I didn't mean to.
No, it's fine. No, but I
Best and the worst scenes.
For you two, you obviously have a lot of scenes together, and the relationship evolves over the course of the movie. Was the rehearsal period very important for just in terms of getting to learn about each other, work with each other?
Yeah, it was. It was great. It was really awkward and intense and weird and exciting. And Garth made us do a bunch of things that I had never done before or dreamt of doing before. And it was really great, yeah.
Dev?
Yeah. We
To be monkey. We had a day where we just had to be monkeys
Questions.
together. We had to paint each other. We had to do all these what is it, like the New York Times 40 questions or something to make you fall in love?
What was the biggest revelation about?
During the question?
Yeah.
I'm miserable from her painting. Like I had a bleeding heart. I was just like,
Right. All right, so I would guess that for most of you, the first time that you saw the finished film was at the completed film was at the Toronto International Film Festival premiere. I was there covering it that night. It was a pretty special evening, I would think. People just loved it, and I wonder what that night was like for you guys, and also what what you've made of the very emotional response that people have had to this movie since, as it's been rolling out. And I guess Luke, let's start with you and where it started on the page as well.
This film, maybe I speak for all of us, but I'll speak for myself. This film broke my heart open from a very early stage. It's a beautifully emotional journey in a sense. So yeah, standing on the stage at Toronto and feeling that the audience had a similar emotional experience, that was the beginnings of feeling like, oh, we've done a good thing here. There's something very beautiful going on. And it just happens that we've had this year or more of extremely aggressive antagonism on the public stage in the world. And it's not like this film in any way knew that was coming, but the crying that many people experience in this film is a kind of healing experience. And in the aftermath, in the wake of that aggressive antagonism, it's a pretty nice healing experience right now.
Garth?
I mean, I don't know. I was privy to a lot of research screenings, and I don't know. I was just watching the audience quite carefully, and there's people that start crying at the very beginning. There's people that start crying when he gets adopted. So there's all these different types of criers, I noticed. And then there's people that hold on to the bitter end and they finally give in. But I don't know. It's like, I don't know what we've made. I mean, I just tried to be honest with the film, and I think it touches people in all sorts of ways. I mean, it could be simply a father or a mother who haven't had the love from their children. It could be as simple as that. Or it could be someone who's adopted. Or, I mean, I just think there's a lot of things that people can find in this story that could open them up. But yeah, it seems to have an effect on people, definitely.
Very much. Does anybody else want to add to that, or we can go on to the next? I want to ask Sunny, what the first time you saw yourself on a movie screen, what was that like?
Very nice.
But you... Sonny had never seen a movie before until 2 weeks ago in New York at the premiere, seeing this movie. That was the first movie he ever saw in his life, and it blew his mind.
Really? What?
5 times.
What did he say?
Tonight is the 5th time he saw the film.
Wow. So I guess the last thing I will ask before we go to the audience, I want to follow up on that, Sonny. What do your friends and family and everybody make of this? This must be a really exciting, cool thing. I mean, you've got to have a lot of people envious. You've been photographed in the arms of Nicole Kidman, literally. It's got to just be a very strange, cool thing. What do you make of it all?
मेरे को अच्छा लग रहा है पप्पा ने मेरे को ये लाइन में डाला
Life has changed at home. Everybody is loving it. And the person who I would like to thank who stood by me is my father, Dilip Pawar. He's here somewhere. Where are you? He's right there in that corner, ladies and gentlemen.
So we're going to go to the audience questions. This one is from Samantha Jimenez. Question is for Sunny. Do you look forward to making additional movies after this one?
बहुत करने का मेरे को बहुत सारा.
I want to do lots and lots and lots of movies. He's done one more already, so...
What's that? He's done another one?
Love Sonia.
He's done a film called Love Sonia, which is being directed by Tabrez Noorani and being produced by David Womack.
Got Demi Moore in it.
Yeah, it's got Demi Moore in it.
Awesome. So the next question is from Keely Field, it looks like, for Nicole Kidman. How do you prepare for a role? Does it vary or is it always the same?
Very, very different. Always very, very different. I love the preparation though. I never sort of do the fast track on that because part of the joy for me of being an actor is the research and being able to kind of learn new things, and I'm still so curious about people and the world. So I always relish that.
Next question is from Brian Davis. It's for Dev Patel. Dev, do you see any connection between this film and Slumdog Millionaire?
Great question, Brian. In a way, it's dealing with a boy who is searching for a needle in a haystack. In this case, he's using Google. But I think they're both anthems in love. One is about is a romantic film. The other one is about brothers and mothers and sons. And I think tonally they're very different movies. Garth is a great filmmaker. And he's up there in my mind with the absolute greats. And his fingerprint is all over this. This is a Garth Davis film, and it's sweeping. It's also very claustrophobic at times. And, I wouldn't have taken it on if I felt like my specific journey, the lines that I was saying, the path that I was walking was similar. Personally for me, I look at it as, okay, this is the closest I'm going to get as a British Indian guy playing another 20-something young guy who doesn't have to do any big, goofy sidekick kind of silly things. And, there's some real gravitas and meat and emotion to the journey, which is, something that I've struggled to find since Slumdog for a long time. So does that answer it?
That's a great answer, yeah. Next question is for Rooney from Melinda York. What scene scared you the most and why?
I don't know if it's in the film, but there's some dancing. Is that in the film?
That's good, both of us.
Yeah, I was scared of the dancing. There was like a rave dancing scene. But we just got really drunk for it.
Rooney can throw some shapes, though, I've got to say.
The last question is for Sunny. Sunny, what will you remember the longest about the making of Lion?
All the memories.
All right, well, thank you guys all very much. Have a good night.
Yeah, be ready.